Hi guys. Hopefully you're not too stir crazy yet. I know kids are off of school and a lot of parents are working from home. So I thought I would give you guys a fun family activity that actually has 3 parts. The first part would be learning the story of the prodigal son that is in the Bible. And we will be reading that out of the Spark Story Bible. The second part is watching the movie Lion King, which is always fun to watch a movie. And there's 2 versions and both versions are great. And I believe you can find those on Disney+. And the third part is discussing the parallels between the 2 stories. What's the same and what's different? So there's a lot of things that are the same in the 2 stories and a lot of things that are different. There are definite characters in both the movie as well as people in the story who are very similar and felt similar ways. And I think it would be a fun family discussion to talk about the common things that are common between the 2 and things that aren't so common. So if you want, you can actually read this in the Bible itself, which is actually found in Luke chapter 15, right at the beginning. It starts in verse 1, and I believe the story is done by the time you get to verse 32. So I encourage you to do that as well. But I think for right now, we are actually going to read the story here from our Spark Story Bible. Let's make sure you guys can see this, okay? There, that seems better. Jesus spent time with all sorts of people, even people who had done bad things. This made some people mad. Why is Jesus always around people who do bad things? They grumbled. Jesus heard them, so he told them this story. A man had 2 sons. The younger son, who was a bit wild and crazy, came to his father and said, "Dad, I want to get away from here. I want my money." This made the father sad, but he split his money and gave his son the part that was his. The younger son packed his bag and headed out away from home. The son traveled to a faraway country and spent all his money on fancy parties and food. Let's turn the page. Soon, he had no more money and no place to stay. Lucky for him, he found a man who let him sleep in his barn if he fed the pigs. "What am I thinking?" he said to himself as he fed the pigs. "The men who work for my father have more than enough to eat, and here I am starving to death. I'll go home and say to my father, 'Dad, I made a big mistake. I'm not good enough to be your son, but would you let me work for you?'" So he went home. While he was still far away from his house, his father saw him. His father ran and threw his arms around him. The father put a ring on the son's finger and shoes on his feet and ordered for a party to be thrown for him. The older son saw his father's servants preparing for a party and asked, "What's going on?" "Your brother is home," said the servant, "and your father is having a party." This made the older brother angry at his father. "I have always done what is right," he said to his father. "I worked hard for you, but you never gave me a party. Now my brother comes home after he wasted your money. Why are you throwing him a party?" "My son, you've always been with me, but your brother left and now has come back." Then the people understood. Jesus spent time with those people because even though they had done bad things, they decided to change their lives and live like God wanted. And this made Jesus very happy. I hope you guys enjoyed the story, and I hope you enjoyed The Lion King and have a fun discussion. I'll keep checking in a couple times every day with things for both parents and for kids, as well as family activities. So please join me.